guess it's just that kind of thing where it's up to your own interpretation, you know?
The time is currently 5:09 p.m. and here I am in the middle of a Colombian finca in the middle of nowhere. This is probably owned by Pablo Escobar or by one of the narcos. However, in moments like these, there's really not much else to say other than just being silent. Exactly 1 week ago, I came to Colombia from America without a plan. Some of my best decisions in life have always been the ones that I've taken without necessarily calculating the risk or figuring things out. And exactly 1 month ago from this date, I actually lost $18,000 of consistent revenue within my business. And I broke off one of my businesses to completely go all in on a marketing agency that helps wellness brands. What am I doing exactly? I don't exactly know. Here I am in the process trying to figure things out. I have good people around me, like my friend Omar right there doing Qigong. I thought that shit was just in the movies, but apparently it's real. He's just doing that shit and it looks fucking legit. So yeah. Over these next 6 months, I really want to take the time to figure out a couple of things about myself. What is it that I want? Who is it that I want to be doing these things with, right? And is what I want something that I truly want, or is it just my programming from other people that I've seen on social media? Every single person my age on social media has a Bugatti, a Lamborghini, 300 employees, and has exited their first business by the time that they were 16. Meanwhile, I just watch Naruto and I play Wizard 101. We all have different paths to walk in life, and my path is figuring it out and being honest about the journey that I'm going through. So welcome to episode 1 of The Gap, where together we will bridge the gap from where we are right now to our future selves. Little actions make a very big difference, and as they say in Spanish, paso corto vista larga. It's okay to not be as far as you thought you were going to be when you were 16. When I was 16 years old, I told my dad that I was going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 25. I turned 25 3 months ago, and the time is ticking. My dad is getting older. The amount of money that I wanted to make still isn't in my bank account. And I keep asking myself, when am I going to get there? What am I missing, right? I have all this information. I have ChatGPT. I have these AI bots. I commented content under the guru's Instagram post, and still things haven't popped off. The amount of money I want isn't in my bank account, and something's missing. But maybe what's missing is the fact that I think something should be there. Maybe I have every single thing that I need to have right now in my journey. So often I forget how rich of a man that I am. Today, I sat down in front of a dinner table with 12 people, 10 of which I've never met before, and I had an absolute feast of a meal. Avocados, elote, fruits on this incredible finca. If someone was to look at my life, they would say, wow, Yusuf, you are truly a rich man. But for some reason, the concept never seems to sink through. I think that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to have to look at over these next 6 months. Why is there something inside of me, and where is that thing inside of me coming from that says that no matter what I do, I don't have enough? Because I know how much I've done, and the people that I've worked with know how much I've done too. But for some reason, when I think about it myself, it seems to vanish in thin air. Maybe you've had similar thoughts, or maybe you've been on a similar path, you know? But I think the goal is just to get closer and closer to understanding where that comes from, and to really integrate it into the version of who you want to become. Yeah. And you know what? That kind of makes me think about something. Is it better to be lost and honest that you are lost? Or is it better to be convinced that you aren't lost? Sometimes the best questions are the ones that you don't have the answers to. And right now I'm figuring out what that looks like for myself. I have some people here that I kind of want to ask this question to. Let's go ahead and ask them. Let's go ask some friends. What's up, guys? All right, I'm here joined with my homie Kay, my homie Juan, and the homie Omar. Nice, he's leaving me hanging on camera. We're gonna cut that part out. All right, guys, so I wanted to ask you guys a simple question, okay? Give me your perspective on it. Is it better to be lost and honest that you're lost, or is it better to be convinced that you aren't lost?
I say lost and honest. Okay. Being lost isn't a bad thing. being lost and not knowing that you're lost, that's where you're fucked.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that, because just because you don't know where you're going doesn't mean that you don't feel good, and doesn't mean that you won't get where you're meant to be.
Not all who wander are lost, but those who have never wandered have been lost forever.
Yo, see, here we go. Okay,
you ever-
typical Ohm.
Did you ever hear that quote of like there was a poem about a man who walks through a forest, and then an elder is speaking to him, and he says, "Stay still. You are not lost. The trees around you are not lost. The bushes around you are not lost. They are exactly where they need to be." You know, and it's like it's such a beautiful meditation to think about, because the trees that are in our life right now aren't lost. It's just that we've always rationalized that we were. You know, it's like Alan Watts. He says this thing about how we're always living an uncalculated life, but we always rationalize that we weren't living an uncalculated life. We just rationalize that.
About that.
Yeah,
it's because we have an attachment to the perception that we can control what happens next.
100%, dude. 100%.
Life is a series of just synchronicities,
Yeah.
and we are pattern recognition machines. So when we start to recognize the synchronicity, suddenly it seems like everything is in this divine mystery is just absolutely perfectly flowing. There you go. Perfectly flowing.
Accidental bars.
The big takeaway this weekend was that it's okay to be exactly where you are. And honestly, I've been kind of recognizing that the more that I force myself to have something figured out, or the more I force myself to have something by a particular point in time, the less likely it is to actually come to me. Everything has its own timing. You have your own plans and God has his own plans. And part of those plans coming true is trusting in the fact that they will come to pass no matter what happens. So, big takeaway is that, hey, look, not all those who wander are lost. And maybe it's not a bad thing to be lost. You know, maybe our entire lives we have been lost, but we just rationalized that we weren't. So, either way, I'm just gonna take in the scenery here before we head off. Thank you guys for watching episode 1 of The Gap, and I'll see you guys next Monday at 6 p.m. Peace. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on episode 2.
That was fire.